Hello everyone, and thank you for joining the MapBuilder tutorial. Today I will be walking you through how to create your own interactive web mapping application for land use monitoring using Global Forest Watch's free MapBuilder tool. Today you will learn how to create your own interactive web map, how to display your own environmental datasets, how to customize the appearance of your web map application, and how to share your finished product with the world. Here you can access the links and materials relevant to this tutorial. Please note that we will reference these links throughout the training. You can access our MapBuilder tool via ArcGIS Online. I will now go over how to create a free public account, but if you already have a public account, please disregard these steps and proceed with logging in. To create an account, navigate to www.arcgis.com. Please click the Create an Account link beneath where the web page prompts you for a username and password. Once you have navigated to the next screen, you should scroll down and click on this link where it says to create an ArcGIS public account. Again, this is a free limited functionality account that will give you access to the MapBuilder tool. The site will now prompt you to fill out your information. Please complete the process by adding your first name, last name, and email. You'll need to accept the terms and services below. Conversely, if you're interested in using any of the following social media or other alternative login, you can access that via these buttons here. Click Next to proceed. You will be sent an email, which will then prompt you to complete the account activation process. Once you have successfully created your ArcGIS Online public account, you can log in and then begin the process of creating your MapBuilder tool. First of all, you have to create a web map. In order to do that, please navigate to the top toolbar and click Map. What you see is a blank interactive map on the right, as well as some buttons and tools that will allow you to add your custom data and add some additional content and details. Before any custom data is added to this web map, it's a good idea to save it. Please navigate to the top toolbar and select Save. Give your map an informative title. In this specific training, we will be using a data set that displays the boundaries of 6 Brazilian continental biomes. I will give this map a title related to this content. Next, I'll specify some tags for my map. If you end up creating many different maps, tags are a good way to categorize them. Then give your map a brief description. You can save this map in a specific folder, which will be accessible in the content area of your ArcGIS Online account. Once all of the fields are complete, the map can be saved, and we can proceed with adding custom spatial data. We are now ready to add data to our map. With a free account, you have two options for adding data. The first is adding data from a file stored on your desktop. The second is adding data from the ArcGIS Online catalog. I'll go over both options. First of all, let's add data from your desktop. If you'd like to use the training data, please follow the data link that was provided at the beginning of this video. Once you've downloaded that data, please save it somewhere convenient on your desktop. When you're ready, select Add from the top toolbar, and then choose Add Layer from File from the drop-down menu. In this case, we are adding a zipped shapefile. Make sure you do not unzip the file before you import it. Select Browse to access the file on your desktop. In this case, we're using the Brazil biomes zip file. By the way, in addition to shapefiles, you can also upload CSVs, GPX, or GeoJSON files. Select whether you'd like to generalize the features for web display or keep the original features of your dataset. When you're ready, select Import Layer. You should now see the data reflected on your map. Now that the data is appearing on our web map, we have several different options for visualizing. First of all, we can choose an attribute to show on the lower left-hand legend. Right here, I've selected to show the name of each Brazilian biome, since that's what we're focusing on. Next up, you can select a specific attribute using this setting right here. This will enable you to change the appearance of your data based on attribute information, in this case, name. Clicking here, you can go even further as to select individual colors for each of your data. You can adjust the transparency here, as well as the visible range. Once you've configured your data to your satisfaction, select OK. Conversely, if you'd like to visualize your data using one single visualization, select this option right here. And you can see that now all of the biomes are visualized in one color. I'm going to switch it back and then select Done. Now that we've configured the visualization, don't forget to hit Save. The next thing I'll show you how to do is how to configure your data here in the legend area. The first thing I want to do is change the name of the layer to something that's more descriptive. So I'll click More Options, scroll down in the drop-down menu, and then select Rename. If you click this layer now, you'll see that the name has changed, and you can also see the visualization decisions that you made before. If you'd like to go back and edit any of these, you can go here and change the style. Clicking on More Options also shows you several other types of customizations that you can use for your data. If you'd like to configure a pop-up information, such as when you click on a shapefile in your interactive map, you can do so here. You can create labels, such as if you'd like to label each biome here on the map itself. You can affect the transparency of the data here. And you can also choose to remove or hide this layer if you'd no longer like to see it on your map. Once we've completed editing the data set here in Content, you can now see that change reflected here on the legend. I'll now go over the second option for adding data to your map, which is by accessing the ArcGIS Online Data Catalog. Return to the top toolbar and select Add. Now select Search for Layers from the drop-down menu. As you can see, the default is to search for layers within My Content. However, we would like to expand that search to all of ArcGIS Online in order to search the full catalog. Now you can search for layers. In this example, I would like to add data for oil and gas concessions in Brazil. So I'll search that. As you can see, my search has yielded a couple of data sets. I'm going to select this one. By clicking on this data set, you can now see several different pieces of information regarding the description, the terms of use, credits, and more. Once you've reviewed whether this is the data set you'd like to add, you can select Add to Map, and you can see the data populate. Click back. You can view the data in your contents now, as well as within the legend. In exactly the same manner as before, you can change the style. I'm going to change the status to a different color in order to better contrast against the existing data set. Now I'm going to change the name. Once you've configured this data set, we can now move on to the next step of this process, which is to create a web mapping application based on this web map that we've just configured. Now that we are done configuring our web map, we will want to make sure to save it. Select here on the top toolbar and select Save in the drop-down menu. Now that we've successfully saved our web map, we'll want to navigate to My Content in ArcGIS Online. I would recommend not navigating away from this tab. Instead, go up to the Home button here on the top left, scroll down to Content, right-click, and open Link in New tab. This is important because you'll want to reference your web map in the future, specifically so that you can get this information, the web map ID, from the browser. Click on the new tab that you've just opened. Now you can see where the web map has been stored within your content. Next, you'll want to Add Item, this button on the top left, and select Add an Application. Now we're ready to create your interactive web mapping application. First, we'll want to make sure that the type of application is selected to be web mapping. Next, we need to define the purpose, which is configurable. The URL that you'll want to enter here is https://my.gfw-mapbuilder.org/v1.latest. This will make sure that your application is pointing to the MapBuilder template. We'll now give our mapping application a descriptive title. Again, we'll want to add tags. Once you've filled out everything you need to, proceed by clicking Add Item. You will now be brought to a new screen, which will allow you to configure the settings of your web mapping application. You can make sure that your web mapping application isn't accidentally deleted by checking this box under Delete Protection. Anytime you make any changes within your settings, make sure that you save. The next thing you'll need to do is scroll down and define the data source URL. In order to do this, you'll need to add some text into this URL box. You'll want to add a / app ID equals. The app ID that you'll need to enter here can be found in the URL. Looking at the URL, after ID equals, copy, and then paste. Make sure that the only text that's included within your app ID are the numbers that are found up here in the URL. Once you've done so, scroll down. Now we'll need to define the configuration parameters. In order to do this, you'll need to go to the WRI GitHub. I'll provide the link. Please go to github.com/WRI/GFW-MapBuilder/wiki/configuration. You are now on the configuration page of the GFW MapBuilder wiki. Scroll down. Now, please watch very closely. You'll want to copy and paste some of the text below. Make sure that you capture this curly bracket. Scroll down, making sure to copy all of this text. Once you're at the very bottom, you'll want to make sure that you only copy up to the curly bracket before the comma. Now navigate back to your web mapping application and paste what you've just copied into the configuration parameters. Now we're ready to dive into the code and make changes to the web map. Some changes that we'll make are the name of the web map, the subtitle, some additional information including language, and then I'll show you some other examples of things that you can configure, such as default datasets, translations, and more. Let's now start to edit some of the configuration settings for your web mapping application. The first thing that you'll want to do is to change the web map ID. You can find your specific web map ID by navigating back to the tab. Remember that we kept open the web map that we created earlier so that we can reference this number right here. After the equal sign, highlight the numbers and copy, making sure that you just capture the string after the equal sign. Navigate back to the tab that contains your web mapping application and paste that string right here. The next thing we'll want to do is to make some changes based on the content of our web map. In this training, our web map is looking at the biomes in Brazil as well as oil and gas concessions. Let's make our title something related to that. We can also change the subtitle. In addition to the settings that you just changed, there are many other configuration settings that you can edit here in your web mapping application. To see a comprehensive list of these settings and what each of them correspond to on your web map application, you can go back to the GitHub page that you were on previously. Since you're currently on the configuration page, you'll want to go to the right, scroll down, and select Plain Attributes. Here you can see all of the different settings that you can edit. There are helpful explanations as to what each property means, and some examples of how to edit it. You can also see some other helpful information. For example, we support several default languages. For example, in addition to English, which is the default setting, you can change your map to French, Spanish, Portuguese, Bahasa Indonesian, Mandarin Chinese, or Georgian. This setting lives right here, in the Languages property. Once you're finished configuring your web map, you want to go down and click Save. You'll know that this was successful if you see the green pop-up that just appeared in the top right-hand corner. If you do not see this appear and you're unable to save your map, this means that there is an issue with the code that you have just adjusted. One of the most common issues that are here in the configuration parameter are an improper amount of brackets or an accidental deletion of quotations. Please make sure that when you go to the GitHub and you look at the configuration file, that you have selected the correct text. I'll show you again, just because this is a very specific step. Again, make sure that you only copy what I've highlighted here. Now we're ready to make a couple last-minute changes before we unveil the finished MapBuilder application. Select Overview. Here you can add a brief summary about your item. If you'd like to add some more in-depth descriptions, any terms of use, any additional information about credits, or update any of the information regarding the tags that you've assigned to this web map application or the folder in which it's stored, you can do that now. The next thing I want to do is make sure that the sharing settings are specified. Currently, the web map is only viewable by you, the owner of the web map application. If you'd like to change this and make sure that everyone can view this web app application, you can select Everyone. I'll do that now. Additionally, to make sure that everyone can view this web map application, you'll want to go back to the web map that you created earlier and edit the sharing settings. You can do that by going to the top tab here, select Share, and then make sure that everyone is selected. Go back to the tab for your web map application and select View Application. Now you can see your data, as well as all of the changes that you made to the configuration file. As you can see here, the title and the subtitle have reflected the changes that we made on the configuration file. Selecting Info shows the narrative information that we also edited in the configuration settings. Now you're ready to share your web mapping application. To do so, you can select this button here in the top right. You have several different options. You can copy and paste this link. You can also share it on Twitter or Facebook. You can also embed your MapBuilder application within an external website using an iframe. Simply change the highlighted source URL below to match the URL for the MapBuilder application you'd like to share. Thank you again for joining this training. Again, here are the links and materials that were discussed throughout this training. You can reference these to learn more about how to sign up for a free Esri Public account, how to view a written version of this tutorial, to access the sample data used in this tutorial, and to visit the MapBuilder Tools GitHub page. There you will find comprehensive information about MapBuilder, the configuration settings, and more. To learn more about the MapBuilder tool, you can visit www.globalforestwatch.org/mapbuilder. If you have any questions, you can also email us at mapbuilder@wri.org. Thank you again for joining this training.